At least 3 women have been killed and 9 others injured in a bomb attack in Colombia's capital, Bogota. Police say an explosive device was hidden in a toilet at the Andino shopping center in an exclusive area of the city. The mall was packed with people buying gifts ahead of Father's Day celebrations on Sunday. Bogota Mayor Enrique Penlosa confirmed that one of the casualties is 23-year-old Frenchwoman Julie Wynn, who was in the city for 6 months to work with disadvantaged school children. He described the bombing as a cowardly act.
Nos duele terriblemente este hecho.
The young Frenchwoman's mother is thought to be among those hurt. A peace accord signed last year with FARC, the country's biggest guerrilla group, raised hopes bomb attacks might cease. For now, authorities say no other militant or insurgent group has admitted responsibility.
Euronews correspondent Philippa Soares is in the area where the fires have been raging.
Acabamos de chegar a Pedrógão Grande, no distrito de Leiria.
We've just arrived at Pedrógão Grande in the district of Leiria, where dozens of people have died in a huge fire.
Na estrada vários veículos completamente carbonizados, nos quais morreram.
Behind me, we can still see cars completely burned out on the roadside. Dozens of people died while trying to escape from their vehicles. I passed through a dense cloud of smoke on the way here. For more than 30 kilometers, there was smoke everywhere. I also saw a firefighting plane trying to get closer to the flames and a helicopter battling to put out the fire.
Estava então a combater os incêndios. Estes meios, nomeadamente os aviões Canadair, foram enviados por França e por Espanha.
The aircraft were sent from France and Spain, but they've been struggling to get close because of poor visibility.
Falta de visibilidade. Há alguns momentos tivemos também a informação, vimos aqui equipas da polícia.
Earlier, I spoke with members of the police and forensic teams that have been gathering evidence from some of the cars. I was told they were still recovering bodies from vehicles.
Autoridades que ainda estavam a ser removidos alguns corpos destas viaturas.
At least 2 people have been killed in an attack by gunmen on a luxury tourist resort in Mali. Security forces, aided by UN soldiers, were called to the scene, eventually rescuing 36 guests. One of the dead is said to have been a Gabonese citizen. Gunmen stormed Le Campement Kangaba to the east of the capital, Bamako. It's a resort popular with Westerners. According to Mali's security minister, one of the assailants was able to escape after being injured. The incident is being treated as a terror attack. At first, we thought they were armed bandits, but we know the methods used by armed bandits. We are now thinking that this is a terrorist attack, and that's why the anti-terrorism prosecutor is already at the scene with his staff. Earlier this month, the US Embassy in Bamako warned of possible attacks on Western targets. In November 2015, at least 20 people were killed when gunmen took hostages at a hotel in the capital.
Almost a year to the day since Britain voted to leave the European Union, Brexit negotiations have finally begun. David Davis, the UK's Secretary of State for leaving the EU, and the bloc's chief negotiator for Brexit, Michel Barnier, met in Brussels for the first day of talks as the two parties try to disentangle Britain from Europe.
I hope that today we can identify priorities and a timetable that would allow me to report to the European Council later this week that we had a constructive opening of negotiations.
Thank you
the pair
very
will
much
begin
for
talks
that,
by fleshing out the logistics before discussing heavier matters.
We will do all that we can to ensure that we deliver a deal that works in the best interests of all citizens. To that end, we're starting this negotiation in a positive and constructive tone, determined to build a strong and special partnership between ourselves and our European allies and friends for the future.
Now it's crunch time. These talks could last years and will cover a wide range of areas, from a financial agreement to the rights of EU citizens living in the UK.
UK police have released images of the inside of Grenfell Tower and have warned the death toll will rise above 58. Prime Minister Theresa May is chairing another meeting of the Grenfell Tower Recovery Task Force today amid criticism from the opposition Labour Party of the government's response to the tragedy.
The people I met in the church today, and I've met every day over the last few days, are showing their resilience. They're showing a community coming together to grieve, but also a community frustrated and, yes, angry. Angry not simply at the poor response in the days afterwards from the council and the government, but the years of neglect from the council and successive governments.
Search and recovery efforts are likely to go on for weeks, if not months, authorities warn. Police say the almost indescribable extent of the damage from the fire means the bodies of some of those missing may never be identified.
Several people have been injured after a van drove into a crowd of pedestrians in Finsbury Park, North London. At least 10 people are said to have been hurt. Unconfirmed reports say 2 people have died. Police were called just after midnight following reports of a collision on Seven Sisters Road. Witnesses claim the vehicle struck people as they were leaving the Finsbury Park Mosque. There are also reports that a man armed with a knife leapt out of a vehicle and stabbed at least one person. A man has been arrested. Police immediately sealed off the area, describing the situation as a major incident. The UK has been on high alert after a series of attacks. In recent weeks, a man drove a car into pedestrians on Westminster Bridge in London and stabbed a policeman to death before being shot dead. His attack killed 5 people. In Manchester, 22 people died at a pop concert after a suicide bomber blew himself up, and 8 others died in a car ramming and stabbing attack on and near London Bridge.
Police in London say 10 people were injured after an attacker drove a van onto a street near a mosque in North London. One man who is already being given first aid at the scene before the vehicle was driven into pedestrians has died, but police said it was not clear whether his death was directly linked.
No matter what the motivation for this attack proves to be, we are keeping an open mind. This is being treated as a terrorist attack, and the Counter-Terrorism Command is investigating. At this early stage of the investigation, no other suspects have been identified or reported to police. And there were no reports of any people having suffered any knife injuries.
Witnesses said all the victims were Muslims who had finished praying after breaking their fast in the holy month of Ramadan. Prime Minister Theresa May is to hold an emergency Cobra meeting later in the day.
Televidente, momento para outro espaço comercial. Agora nós estamos com o Informe Deportivo.